Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is certainly a video that I did not anticipate making, considering the infamous release of Battlefield 2042. As of October 20th, 2023, at 8:13 p.m., which is when I am recording this, I can now say that I can recommend Battlefield 2042 for people to play if they buy the game on sale. So in this video, it's all going to be about, is the game worth it in 2023? What are my thoughts about the game? What's still wrong with it? What problems are there? What did they improve if you haven't played it for quite a long time? And I suppose you could generally consider this video to be a State of the Game 2023. Those of you with good memories will know that I actually made a State of the Game 2023 a little while ago. But I feel the need to make another one because I feel as though my last video that I made is actually not representative anymore. So let's jump into things. If you enjoy the content, be sure to hit the like button. Thank you to everyone that does that, and subscribe to the channel. Over 60% of people that watch my videos are not subscribed, so if you watch my videos regularly, just check if you're subbed. Only takes one click. And of course, I stream every single day at twitch.tv/enders. First link in the description. Drop my channel a follow. It is free. So Battlefield 2042, as we all probably know, had by far the worst Battlefield release ever, and essentially killed the game from the start, destroyed everyone's hopes and dreams, and probably made children cry and a whole bunch of other atrocities. And of course, that led people to, rightfully so, write the game off and to say, yeah, fuck this game, it's stupid and it's broken and I'm not going to play it anymore. And you can't blame anyone for that. I myself, in the community, am most likely known for being incredibly harsh when it comes to Battlefield games. I'm probably known as Battlefield's #1 critic, and even I have been pushed to a point where I have to acknowledge DICE's progress with Battlefield 2042, because no matter how you look at it, if you update the game with positive things enough time, it's going to add up and it's going to make the game different. This version of Battlefield 2042 is not the version of Battlefield 2042 you played in Season 1, or on release, or Season 2. No. This version of Battlefield 2042 definitely has more quality of life improvements. For instance, in Season 6, which is the latest season, and also the season that pushed me to make this video, they fixed the recoil bug, which affected every single player in the entire game. Generally made shooting feel very bad. It disconnected the screen center from the sight, causing wonky, basically just terrible feeling gunplay. Finally fixed that. And I have to say, their consistency and priorities with Battlefield 2042 in terms of what they are fixing, in terms of the changes they're making, have mostly been spot on. I would say about 85% of what they've done in these recent updates, stretching back about 7 months, have been, I'd say, competent and in touch with what they needed to change. Now, I know all of that sounds unbelievable, like, oh my god, I'm going to buy the game right now. But I did say that I'm definitely going to be honest in this video, like I always am in every video. There are still massive problems with Battlefield 2042 that are just genuinely never going to be fixed. And for a lot of you, it doesn't really matter what I say. You're just not going to buy the game, and that's completely fine. I'm not really asking you to buy the game. I'm just sort of informing people that maybe it's time to give the game a try again if you were thinking about doing that anyway. In terms of the existing problems, unfortunately, even with the reworks to Battlefield 2042's base game maps, the maps are still, without question, generally the worst maps ever in Battlefield history, okay? Manifest literally makes me want to light my computer on fire. Some of the reworks to the base game maps have, in my opinion, significantly improved the experience, but like I said, unfortunately, it's kind of like putting lipstick on a pig. The newer maps that they've added, such as Reclaimed, such as the newest one, Redacted, I would say blow out most, if not all, of the base game maps by orders of magnitude. And even then, the new maps that they've added are not the greatest Battlefield maps ever made by any stretch of the imagination. I'd say Redacted, in my opinion, along with Reclaimed, are the two highest quality, generally pretty good playing maps that they've added, and they are still 7.5s to 8s in my opinion, and that rating might be a little bit high. Now, moving on to some of the other issues that still exist within Battlefield 2042 that I think a lot of you will most likely care about. In terms of the specialists, they are still in the game. They are not going to be removed. and they have been repackaged into a traditional Battlefield class system. If that doesn't pique your fancy, then it doesn't, and I completely understand that. I understand because McKay just won't shut the fuck up ever, and it's kind of cringe. Another persistent issue with Battlefield 2042 is, of course, the general feel of the game, and I put feel in sort of quotation marks, right? Because when I say feel, I refer to the responsiveness and the snappiness of the input both on controller and mouse, and of course the responsiveness and input of the movement itself. It has long been documented that Battlefield 2042's controller/mouse input/general feel of the game is laggy and imprecise at best, and while it has gotten better, it's not going to feel like previous Battlefield games. If you go back and play Battlefield 5 and then play Battlefield 2042, I'd be willing to bet that there is a discernible and absolute difference between those two games because 2042's input is literally bugged. Now, enough about the input, because we're going to talk about the weapon balance and general vehicle balance in Battlefield 2042, because those things are very important to people in terms of the gunplay/weapon balance. I'll start with the gunplay first. The gunplay has undergone many miniature iterations during Battlefield 2042's life cycle. The way it is right now is, in my opinion, probably overall the best it's ever been. They went and made burst firing way more prevalent, especially with light machine guns. They made spread more traditional, like in previous Battlefield games, such as Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. With that being said, they are still significantly more accurate at range, because Battlefield 2042 is the longest range Battlefield engagement range wise. Now, why am I mentioning the gunplay in a section where I'm talking about problems with the game? Well, I think a lot of people are going to say that, oh, this game has no recoil, and you'd be right. It is very, very easy to control Battlefield 2042's recoil, and that might put some people off. Switching gears to the weapon balance themselves, a lot of the weapons feel the same. Okay, there are some standout overpowered picks, such as the new AR, which I would say it's the best AR in the game, borderline overpowered, and of course the new DMR, which they just added in Season 6, which is, in my opinion, definitely overpowered. It's a fully automatic 2-shot DMR that headshots you for 96 damage. So in general, the weapon balance is sort of boring, with a couple standout options that are overpowered and will likely get nerfed later. Switching over to talk about vehicles and the vehicle balance in Battlefield 2042, and of course vehicle versus infantry gameplay, they have added, in my opinion, far too many infantry counters to vehicles, and it is generally extremely easy to actually take out vehicles, contrary to the opinion of Reddit and YouTube comments, and I'm sure people will disagree with me on this, but let's take a second to consider all the options infantry have to take out ground vehicles and air vehicles. So to take out ground vehicles, you have the recoilless rifle, the Javelin, C5, EMP grenades, Casper drones, mines, the newly added RPG, which does more damage, RAW, which disables vehicles, and particularly for tanks, pretty much solidifies them in place for a couple seconds. And even though it has rattled off a bunch of things, I probably forgot quite a few things there. I do think the vehicle versus infantry balance in this game is quite spammy in its nature. The vehicles spam at you, and you sort of spam at the vehicles. One criticism I have of the vehicles is that they are generally not very mechanically well designed. They don't feel good to play in. They don't feel like they have any depth. If you liked the way Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 3's vehicles felt, you will most likely not like how 2042's vehicles feel, because Battlefield 2042's vehicles severely lack mechanics. Now, with all of that being said, I do have to say that I don't actually think many of 2042's vehicles are overpowered. I think you actually have to be quite a good tanker in Battlefield 2042 to successfully defend yourself against all the countermeasures that I just listed, and same goes for pilots, even though people like to dig on helicopter pilots for being, sweaty and, oh, they go 80 and 0. Well, if they're going 80 and 0, they have to be pretty fucking good, don't they? So generally, my criticisms of 2042's vehicles are they lack mechanics, they feel a little too spammy, and I just generally think that it's kind of just a who can throw shit at each other faster fest in 2042 when it comes to vehicles. And before I jump into my final thoughts, I just have to remind everyone, if you are enjoying the content, if you find this informative, be sure to hit the like button. It helps the channel out immensely, and subscribe to the channel. Now, for my final thought, one thing that will probably put some people off, even though the game is on sale for, I don't know, like $5 or $10 all the time, I do think people would generally be disappointed, even as a new player, with the amount of content that is available in Battlefield 2042. And it's just the way it is. You know, that's just how it is. They are not going to suddenly release a DLC like Battlefield 3 that has 4 maps and fucking 27 new weapons and 19 assignments. No, we're going to get the same old battle pass with like 3 new weapons and maybe 2 vault weapons and, yes, a single map. It is just downright disappointing levels of content for a AAA live service, and I'm still pissed off about it. But even after everything that I have said that I still think is an existing problem, I do think that they have made significant progress with Battlefield 2042, and I never really imagined that I would be saying that, because I think we all remember how Battlefield 2042 released. I mean, it was, it makes me want to throw up. Like, I'm actually getting nauseous. But I'm going to close the video out with these few thoughts. I think right now, if you buy Battlefield 2042 on sale, you won't be disappointed if you're looking to just play a Battlefield game and mess around and, you know, try to have some fun with it. But I think tempering your expectations is very important, because if you're going to try Battlefield 2042 and you expect it to be, you know, absolutely unbelievable, I think you're going to be mad. Like, I think you should really quell your expectations and remember some of the things that I said in this video and some of the things regarding how Battlefield 2042 released. It is certainly not going to be the greatest Battlefield game you've ever played, but I think they've pulled it back to where a lot of people can probably start having a little more fun. So if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Comment your thoughts down below. I'm very interested to hear people's opinions on this particular subject. So if you watch this point, I urge you, even if you don't comment regularly, to comment on the video. I really do want to hear from you. And if you want to watch my live stream, I stream every single day at twitch.tv/enders, and I might be streaming on YouTube come very soon, because Twitch announced actually just today that you can now multi-stream, which means that I might be able to stream on Twitch and on YouTube at the same time. So turn notifications on for that 100%, and I will see you guys later.